Hey, good morning, MacU family. So for our public speaking class, we've been instructed to give a 5-minute speech that is informational. In our textbook, Stand Up and Speak Out, on about page 105, we read there's all different kinds of informational speeches. So I've decided to do a how-to speech to give you some information on how to do something, and I'm going to tell you how to study the Bible. So I'm going to use an acronym that is S.T.O.P. S-T-O-P. This has been coined and kind of was first created by a man named Frank Turek, and we find it in his book, Stealing from God. And this acronym will help us break down how to study Scripture well. And Frank Turek is phenomenal. He's been a Christian apologist for years and years, for decades even, and he's a writer and an author, so he's definitely an authority in this field. So we're going to jump in, and by the end of this speech, I hope you know how to study Scripture just a little bit better. So starting off, we're going to start with S, which stands for situation. What is the situation behind the text that you're reading? A simple phrase or a simple set of words without any context can completely change what it means. An example of this could be if I walked up to you and said, "You need to hide." If we're playing a game of hide and seek, a simple phrase like that doesn't mean much more than, hey, we're having fun, it's time to start the game, it's time for you to go hide. However, if the context is, we're hiding from someone that's trying to harm us, a phrase like "you need to hide" completely changes its meaning. And that's super important to understand in Scripture. The situation behind the text completely changes the meaning at hand. Number 2, type. There are all different types of literary methods for using in Scripture. So according to cherubproject.com, there are 9 different types of literature found in Scripture. There is law, narrative, poetry, gospels, parables, letters, wisdom, apocalyptic, and prophecy. And each of these is going to be read in a little different of a way. For example, you would not read a letter from a friend the same as you would read something like the Declaration of Independence. They're completely different types of literature, and you would read them accordingly. Number 3, object. Who is the object of the text? Who is being written to, and who is the writing coming from? These are super important details when it comes to knowing what the Scripture is trying to say. A way that I can use as an example, or something that I can use as an example, is Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope." See, the context, or who the object is behind this, is super important to know whether or not it's applicable to us. Really, it was a letter from Jeremiah to the people of Israel who were currently in captivity when the letter was penned. And it was a promise from God to those who were captive in Babylon that, hey, I will deliver you from your captivity. And that is the context of what is happening and who the letter is to in Jeremiah 29:11. Something as simple as knowing that who the object is, the captive people of Israel, completely changes whether or not we can really use that in a modern 21st century church mindset. And that is another important thing. And then we also have P, the last letter in STOP. P stands for prescription. Prescription or description. Just like a doctor may give you a prescription for medication and tell you, hey, you should do this, it is what is being written in the text something you should do, or is it describing a set of circumstances that happened? Maybe it's describing a historical thing. An example is, according to the National Safety Council, they suggest everyone should wear a bicycle helmet to help prevent head injuries. And in fact, while doing so, can help prevent up to 50% of head injuries. That is a prescriptive take on wearing a bicycle helmet. But if I were then to say, hey, I want to tell you a story of a time I did not wear a bicycle helmet and I was fine. That is descriptive. I'm describing a time I wore a helmet, or did not wear a helmet, excuse me, and it was okay. I'm not telling you that you should do the same, and scripture is the same. Sometimes we see times where, is it something you should do, which is prescriptive, or is it describing something that happened, descriptive? So once again, the 4 points to stop, or the stop method, are S, situation, T, type, O, object, and P, prescriptive or descriptive. And if you use these methods, you can help understand scripture just a little more and in a deeper way. All you have to do is take the time and stop.